In modern wars, civilians are no longer caught in the middle. They are the battlefield. In some conflicts, more than 7 out of every 10 deaths were civilians. Mothers, children, entire families, and yet millions survived, not by luck, but by learning how to endure the unthinkable. When we talk about war, we remember battles, generals, and dates. But war is also lived quietly, inside homes, shelters, and shattered streets. By understanding how civilians survived past wars, we don't just study history. We learn how people hold on to life when everything else falls apart. For civilians, war arrives without warning.
It's all right, just keep walking.
There are no uniforms, no rules, no safe distance. Homes disappear overnight. One explosion can erase generations of memory. What once felt permanent becomes fragile. Displacement follows quickly. Families flee with whatever they can carry, often unsure where they're going or if they'll ever return. Children learn new languages of fear before they learn geography. Food becomes uncertain. Clean water becomes precious. Hospitals close. Medicine runs out. And beyond the physical struggle lies something deeper, a constant state of fear, sleepless nights, the sound of distant violence that never fully fades. War doesn't only destroy cities, it slowly wears down the human spirit. Survival means finding strength where none seems left. History shows us how civilians adapt when survival becomes the priority. During World War II, entire populations lived under occupation and bombardment. People learned to survive by becoming invisible when necessary and united when possible. Basements became shelters. Shelters became communities. Food was divided carefully. Silence became a form of protection.
Eat up.
In occupied villages, survival depended on knowing when not to be seen and when to help quietly without being noticed. During the Vietnam War, civilians faced constant movement and uncertainty. Villages were destroyed, rebuilt, and destroyed again. People adapted by sharing knowledge. Safe paths, hidden shelters, early warnings. Across different wars, cultures, and continents, one truth remains the same. Those who survived did so together. Some of the most powerful survival stories are not about escape, but about staying. In cities under siege, civilians organized food kitchens with almost nothing. They hid schools underground so children could keep learning. They treated the wounded without proper equipment. These were not dramatic acts. They were quiet decisions to care instead of surrender. In moments where fear could have broken them, people chose cooperation, and that choice saved lives. History teaches us that civilians survive war through preparation, adaptability, and community. When systems fail, people become the system. What do you believe is the most important survival lesson from history? Share your thoughts in the comments, and continue exploring the human side of history in our next video. There is something history rarely shows us clearly. Not the explosions, not the maps, but the quiet moments in between. The moments when civilians wake up, unsure if their street still exists. When parents decide whether it's safer to stay or to run.
Keeps the chill out,
For
doesn't
many,
it?
survival was not
You'll
about
have these
bravery.
onions ready in no
It was
time.
about routine. Waking up, finding food, keeping children calm, pretending just for a moment, that life was still normal. Normality became an act of resistance. People celebrated birthdays without candles. They marked time without calendars. They told stories, not to remember the past, but to remind themselves they were still human. Children learned to read by candlelight. Elders passed down knowledge because books were gone. And even in places surrounded by violence, people created rules, structure, and care. War tried to reduce life to fear. Civilians responded by preserving dignity. Many survivors later said the hardest part was not hunger, or cold, or even loss. It was uncertainty, not knowing when it would end, not knowing who would be alive tomorrow, not knowing whether hope was realistic or dangerous. Yet hope survived anyway, sometimes quietly, sometimes stubbornly, sometimes against all logic. What history teaches us is not that civilians are prepared for war. They are not. But they are capable of adapting faster than anyone expects. They learn, they organize, they protect each other. And when the world collapses around them, they rebuild meaning piece by piece. Civilians survive war not because they are stronger than soldiers, but because they refuse to stop being human. Preparation matters, adaptability matters, but above all, community matters. Which lesson from history do you think matters most today? Share your thoughts below and continue exploring the human side of war in our next video.